Okay, well, it is time to start. So welcome everyone to today's class. And just a little warning that there is, it is a little choppy. So, hi Neil. So it might freeze, but we'll just continue on. We'll march on regardless. So I say this at the beginning of every class, and I always want to remind you that it's more important to listen to your own body than to listen to what I'm saying and to what I'm telling you to do. So if your body doesn't think you should be doing it, don't do it. You want to just really respect your own limitations, your own flexibility, and I read a really nice phrase. It says to find your inner alignment. And I think that that's really a really lovely thing to try and do when you're in a pose, to find how it is that you feel strong and you feel comfortable and you feel like all your body is in the right, all your bones and muscles are in the right place that they're meant to be. So with that said, let's see what else. If you have a cushion that you might want to lay your head on when we are lying on our backs, or if you have a rolled up blanket, you can place under your knees if you have any lower back compression as we're lying down. You can also put it under your knees when we're on hands and knees doing any poses. And at the end in Shavasana, you can put it over you to keep you warm if it's cold where you are. So now if you'd all just like to take your comfortable position, either lying on your back, or you can sit up if you like on the cushion. I'm going to be sitting up so that you can hear me. You can even sit on a chair if that's more comfortable for you. So just start to settle into your body and settle into your day. Settle into this time, I should say. Settle into this hour. So for this hour, just let go of, try and let go of things that are on your mind, your lists of things to do, of problems to solve, your regrets from the past, your fears for the future. And we're going to come into our inner journey, into our deeper inner selves. So start to soften your face, soften your bellies. You can close your eyes and relax your body into the earth. And with a gentle awareness, no judgment, just begin to notice your breathing. I'm going to read you a little poem to sort of get you into this peaceful space. This is a poem by Donna Foles. Just for now, without asking how, let yourself sink into stillness. Just for now, lay down the weight you so patiently bear upon your shoulders. Feel the earth receive you and the infinite expanse of the sky grow even wider as your awareness reaches up to meet it. Just for now, allow a wave of breath to enliven your experience. Breathe out whatever blocks you from the truth. Just for now, be boundless, free, with awakened energy tingling in your hands and feet. Drink in the possibility of being who and what you really are. So fully alive that the world looks different, newly born and vibrant, just for now. So bringing your awareness to your inhales, the air passing through your nostrils on the way into your body. And sensing the expansion and the energy of the inhale. Listen for the sound of your inhale. Invite your inhale in a little bit deeply into your belly so that your belly lifts. And now bring your attention to your exhales. With each exhale, see what you can soften. Feel the letting go and the relaxation on the exhales. And listen for a different sound that your exhale makes. Now follow your exhale all the way, coming into your nostrils. Follow it all the way through to the pause at the end of the exhale. You'll be lengthening out the exhale. And for the next 5 or 6 breaths, try to lengthen your exhale to the same length as your inhale. You may do it on a count, or you may do it just by sensing how long your inhale takes, lengthening out the exhale to that time. Oh, now you can come back to your normal breath. You might want to do a little sigh out of your mouth and start to turn your head side to side. Wiggle your fingers and toes. Come back to your normal breath. Hopefully it will be a little bit deeper and more relaxed after the breathing practice. And now I'll ask you, if you're sitting up, if you can lie down on your mat. So come all the way down. And bring your legs out flat on the mat. Actually, you can bring your feet to sit bone distance apart, knees pointing up towards the ceiling. And we're going to try and do each movement on a full exhale and a full inhale. So inhale, exhale. And on the next inhale, draw your knees into your torso, raise your knees and arms up and over to the floor behind you. And on the full exhale, bring your legs, your feet and your arms gently down onto the mat. Inhale, knees up and arms up and over. The backs of the hands resting on the ground. Exhale, knees drop down, hands float down. On the next inhale, bring your right knee in towards your chest and your left arm up and over. Exhale, right foot, left hand, come down to the mat. Inhale, right knee into the torso, left arm, right left leg, right arm. Exhale, bring them back down onto the mat. And do it one more time on each side with your own breath, alternate knees and arms. And then you can just come back to neutral, to still. Now press the soles of your feet into the mat as you gently raise your hips up off the mat, up towards the ceiling. Inhaling and exhaling, lower your hips back down onto the mat. Inhale, raise your hips up to the ceiling. Exhale, you can drop your hips down back onto the mat in a very gentle bridge pose. Inhale, press your feet into the mat as you raise your hips to the ceiling. Exhale, lower. Do that one more time. Inhaling, raising the hips. And exhaling, lowering them back down. Now bring your feet up to the edges of your sticky mat. So make your feet wider than your hips. You can bring your hands out to your sides. And slowly begin to release your knees over to one side. Inhale, bring them back up to center. Exhale, over to the opposite side. Inhale, back to center. Exhale as you release them down, letting the weight of your legs and gravity take them further towards the mat. Inhale, back to center. Exhale to the opposite side. Just working with your breath, letting your breath lead you. Your knees are like reeds just blowing in the wind. Continue a couple more times on each side. And on the next time your knees drop to the side, drop to one side, just stay there and pause. And feel the stretch across the top, across your top leg, the thigh. You may feel it in the lower back. As you exhale, soften any tightness. Two more breath cycles on this side. And then inhale, you can bring your knees back to center and exhale them over to the other side where you'll pause, feeling the stretch across the top thigh, around the side of the hip. Inhale and then soften on the exhale any tightness. Your knees may even fall a little closer to the mat as you relax here. One more breath cycle. And then your next inhale, you can bring your knees back up to center. Now bring your feet into that sit bone distance apart and feel the back of your skull on the mat. Try to lengthen out your neck. So your chin may tuck in a little bit to get the full length of the back of your neck. Relax your shoulders. The backs of the shoulders down onto the mat. And then bring your attention to the gentle arch in your lower back. We are now in neutral pelvis, neutral spine. That natural curve in the lower back is meant to be there. We'll begin to warm up our pelvis. So consider your lower abdomen as a clock face. 12 o'clock is the navel, and 6 o'clock is the top of the pubic bone. Put an imaginary marble in your belly button, and you're going to roll that marble towards 6 o'clock, towards the top of the pubic bone. You're only going to use your pelvis to make this movement, not your legs or your back muscles, just your pelvis as much as possible. And you'll feel that that arch on the lower back increasing. Now roll that marble back to your belly button from 6 back to 12, and the lower back flattens out. Inhale as you roll from 12 to a 6. Exhale as you roll from 6 to 12. Inhaling in a forward pelvic tilt. Exhaling in a backward pelvic tilt. Continue with this gentle bobbing. Leading with your breath. One more time. And then you can come to neutral pelvis with that gentle arch in the lower back. Now we'll do a lower back massage. So take your fingertips and find your right hip bone. That's going to be 3 o'clock. Your left hip bone is going to be 6 o'clock. The marble is going to be in the navel at 12 o'clock, and roll that marble around to your right hip bone, around to 3 o'clock, continuing on down to 6 o'clock, the top of the pubic bone, over to 9 o'clock, the left hip bone, and back up to the belly button at 12 o'clock. So going around to 12 to 3, to 6, to 9, to 12 in a lovely fluid movement, massaging the sacrum area and the lower back. Really feel the sensation of the pelvis as it moves in this gentle rotation. One more time in that direction, and when you come back to 12 o'clock, you can reverse, going over to 9 o'clock, the left hip bone, down to 6, the pubic bone, 3, the right hip bone, and back up to 12. So feeling that whole back, lower back getting massaged, and enjoy this lovely time that we never normally would do. And one more time in that direction. And then come to still. And just take a moment here to feel any tingling you might feel as you woke up that area. And when you're ready, roll over onto one side and come to lying on your bellies. Now you can just rest, your forearms can come in, and you can just rest your head on one side as we just relax on our bellies here. Let the tops of your feet are flat on the mat. Shoulders relaxed, and let the underside of your body that's on the mat, let it relax into the earth. And now let the back of your body relax down into the front of your body. Take some nice full inhales and exhales here. And when you're ready, you can bring your your elbows under your shoulders, your forearms flat on the mat, keeping the lower body lying down. You can press your feet into the mat as you begin to raise your shoulders and your chest forward and up into Sphinx pose. Try not to do too much work in the lower back. This is really trying to find the back bend in the mid back. Lengthen from the lower belly up through up through your body, raising your crown of your head. And breathe here in this gentle back bend. And then you can bring your chest back down to the mat, fold your forearms over in the opposite direction and turn your head to look over the other side. And now take your forehead to the mat and your arms down by your side, palms facing up. Now we're going to lift our legs together. So bring your legs together so they're touching each other. And on an inhale, gently lift them a few inches off the mat. Keeping your forehead down on the mat. And then lower. Lifting them again a few inches off the mat. And then lower them down. And on the next time, we're going to lift our hands, our shoulders, and our chest together with our legs off the mat. So exhale, and on an inhale, raise the legs, the arms, chest and head, and you can draw your fingertips to the back of the room as you draw your chest forward and open. You can gaze down to the ground ahead of you. And then drop your head down onto the mat. Take a couple of breaths here to reconnect. And on your next inhale, raise all your limbs again. Your legs come off the floor. Your hands reach back to the back of the room. Chest rises, shoulders rise. And gaze down towards the ground in front of you. One more breath here. And then you can drop everything down to the mat. Bring your forearms in front of you and rest your cheek on your forearms. And when you're ready, come up onto all fours into tabletop, table pose. The wrists are directly under the shoulders. The fingers are spread wide as you raise up through your arm bones to your shoulders. Your knees can be a little bit, can be hip distance apart, even a little bit back from your hips. And now extend from the crown of your head to, and be looking down, extend from the crown of your head to the crown of your head extending to the front of the room as your tailbone reaches for the back of the room to get a nice length all the way through the spine. You can draw your lower belly in towards your spine and then up towards your chest to activate the lower belly muscles. And we'll begin with some cat-cows. So beginning the movement, initiating it from the pelvis, you're going to drop your tailbone down towards the mat as your back rounds up towards the ceiling. The crown of the head releases down to the mat, and you can look through your back thighs. Following that with a cow pose by raising the sit bones towards the ceiling as you arch your back and you lift through your chest and heart to look forward. Lower belly is activated, drawing up. And once again, on an exhale, releasing the tailbone down as you round the back, head release, crown of head release. And then inhale, curling up and through to cow. Collarbones are wide. Exhaling to cat. Inhaling to cow. Once again, just go at your own pace. Let your breath lead you and feel the movement all the way up and down your spine as you're releasing any tightness, if you're holding any tension in your spine. Try and soften into that area. And then you can come to still. And come back to neutral table. Take your right leg out behind you, toes turned under. And then lifting with your inner right thigh. Lift your leg up to hip height and have your toes turned down. Draw your heel towards the back of the room. And then you can bring that knee down to beside your left knee. Now take your left leg out, toes turned down. Once again, identifying that inner thigh muscle as you lift your left leg up to hip height and draw your heel towards the back of the room. Your head can be down, looking down. Your eyes can be looking down. Your neck is long. Crown of the head reaching for the front of the room. Heel reaching to the back of the room. And then bring that knee down. The next time we do this, we're going to actually bring our arms into this movement, into a balancing bird dog pose, a balancing and strengthening pose. So take the right foot out, toes turned under, raise that leg, get that extension through the back heel, and now begin to raise your right arm up to shoulder height, palms facing in, fingers reaching forward. Feel the extension from the front fingertips all the way through the center of the body to the back heel as you balance on the opposite arm and leg. And now bring your hand and knee back in. And remember to keep your lower belly activated by lifting it up towards the torso. Up towards the spine, and then in towards the spine, up towards the chest, and you can really activate those lower belly muscles. Now take that left leg out, toes turned under. On an inhale, raise the left leg up to hip height, trying to keep the pelvis in line as you raise your right hand, fingertips reaching towards the front of the room. The extension of the opposite limbs reaching away from each other. Feeling the connection in the torso of the arm and the leg. And then you can bring the hand and knee back to the ground, and you can take your knees out wide and begin to draw your hips back towards the back of the room and then down towards your hips, your feet, heels. Now, if your head can't reach the mat, you can either just bend your elbows here and cup your chin in your hands, or you can bring your head to the pillow or all the way to the mat. Stretch your fingers out in front of you. Breathe into the back body and breathe into the belly. One more relaxing breath here. And you can come to a tall kneeling position. Now, if you want some extra support or padding for your knees, you can bring your blanket onto your mat here and you can kneel on your blanket. And so begin to take your right leg out to the directly out to the side of the room and bring your foot down onto the mat. It can be diagonal, whatever's comfortable for you. If it's more comfortable having your toes pointed up, you can do that also. But if you can bring your whole soul down onto the foot, down onto the mat, that's helpful. I'm sorry, I've had a really busy day today, so my words are getting jumbled. Anyway, hopefully I'll correct myself. The hips are, hopefully the hip bones are going to be somewhat level with the mat. So if this right hip bone is way up, just try and bring it down so that the hip bones are level with the earth. The left leg is strong, kneeling on that left thigh, and then begin to raise your left arm, bring it all the way up in a wide arch as you begin, bring it up and over as you begin to tip over to your right side. Your right hand can start to slide down your shin. So the fingertips can be, you can have your hands straight up, but if you want more of a stretch along your side body, you can bring your fingertips towards the front of the side of the room with your palm facing down. And feel the stretch all the way up the left side of the body. Take a couple of inhales into the side ribs as they expand. And exhale, soften any tightness in the side body. And then you can start to bring that left arm down and slowly descending down towards the mat as your body tilts over to the left side. And your right arm now can come up and over. If you can bring it all the way beside your right ear or anywhere along the continuum that's comfortable for you. And feel the stretch all the way from the back of the foot, the back edge of your right foot, all the way up the side leg, side torso, all the way through to the fingertips, reaching towards the opposite side of the room. And once again, try to soften into any tightness you might be feeling in your chest or shoulders. Your head is in line with your spine. And you're gazing out in front of you. On the inhale, begin to bring the right arm back up and over and back up to upright. I did forget to say, if you have a block, you can use that to help to reach the floor on the to reach the mat. So now bring your, if you have a block or something like that, you can bring it to the right side. And then take your, stand up tall and strong on that right thigh and right leg. Take your left leg directly out to the side. Try to level the hips. So one's not up, but they're equal to distance to the earth. As you reach up with your right arm all the way up to the ceiling and over, as you tilt your body over to the left, your left hand can slide down your left shin. Looking out to the front of the room and breathe into those side ribs. Expanding the chest, the lung capacity here by stretching out the little muscles that connect the ribs, the intercostal muscles, with each inhale. One more breath here in gateway pose, and then slowly start to bring that right arm up and over as it comes down and finds the mat on the opposite side. If you have a block, you can use your hand on the block. You can have the palm on the block, fingertips on the block, and then just begin to stretch the left arm up and over towards your left ear. Round your back side, the back edge of your back foot into the mat, and feel the stretch all the way from the back foot through the left side leg, up through the left torso and through the fingertips. Keep your head in line with your spine. And with each exhale, see what you can soften here. And then on your next inhale, come back to upright. You can bring that knee in. Sit back on your heels now. And we'll just do some nice wrist rolls. So just roll your hands around your wrist joints in one direction. Your fingers are nice and wide, arms out in front of you. And then go in the opposite direction. And then bring your left hand out in front of you, palm facing up, and take your right hand and just gently bring the fingertips down towards the mat. Stretching out that left forearm. And now you can switch, and right arm palm faces up. Take your left hand and gently direct your fingers down towards the mat to stretch out the left forearm. If you do a lot of keyboarding, this can help prevent any carpal tunnel syndrome problems. And then bring your hands to your sides. We'll come back to tabletop here. And when you're ready, start to bring your right foot to the outside of your right hand. So So my hand is on the inside. So don't move your hand. Keep it at shoulder distance apart, but bring your right foot to the outside of the right hand and start to come forward and a little bit out to the side. And you'll feel a nice stretch in your right inner thigh. If you want to intensify the stretch, you can try to come up onto the side edge of your right foot. Oh, that really, that's pretty intense. So go slow, move into it slowly. With the exhale, soften the tightness. And then you can bring that right knee back in. Now take the left foot outside of the left hand. And then come slightly forward and to the side. And feel the stretch in your left thigh, the adductor muscles. The more your knee goes out, the more intense that stretch. You can even come onto the outer thigh, the outer side of the left foot. And now come back to the tabletop. Now bring the right foot to the inside of the right hand. And to get a nice stretch in the left thigh, you can either move that right foot forward or the left knee back. You want the right shin bone to be parallel to the mat and not coming over the toes, but tracking over the second and third toe. And now lift your chest and your shoulders and your heart forward. And collarbones are wide here, the shoulders are dropped away from the ears. And feel the stretch in the left thigh, the hip flexors, the psoas muscle that connects the torso, the upper body to the lower body. And now begin to straighten your right leg as you round your back and your hips come back. You feel a stretch along the along the back of your right leg. Come forward, lifting your chest and heart forward. A nice inhale, exhale as the hips come back and the right legs straightens. Your head can come down. And forward. And then back again. One more time forward. And then you can bring that right knee in to meet your left knee. Now take your left foot beside your left fingertips. And if you need to get a better, stronger stretch, you can take that right knee back a little or the front knee forward. Just check that the shin is parallel with the mat. And come up on your fingertips here. I didn't say that before, but you can, when you come up on your fingertips, you can get a nice stretch all the way from the lower belly up through to the sternum. And then begin to take your hips back as your left leg straightens and the head can release down to the mat. Come forward as the knee bends, lifting the chest. And exhaling, straightening the leg, hips back. It's a little bit like the variation of cat-cow. Come forward. Inhaling, collarbones are wide. And exhaling, back again to the back of the room. Hips back. One more time forward. And then you can bring your knee back. And you can sit back on your heels. Okay, gee, time runs out. Okay, so let's come back up to standing now. Let's come up to standing. In mountain pose. Adjust this screen a little so you can see my head. And just start to feel the earth underneath the soles of your feet. Have your feet, the inner sides of your feet parallel with each other. Now just start to gently rock back and forth from the ball of the foot to the heel, ball to heel. The toes rise as you go back to the heel. And then slow that down until you can feel a nice balance in your feet so that the weight is evenly distributed between the ball of your foot and the heel of your foot. You don't want to be clenching your toes into the mat. They're nice and free, spread wide. And now with the pelvis, we want to get the pelvis into a nice balance also to be aligned. So when we were doing those pelvic tilts, I'll try and do it from this side here. Begin to put a little arch in the lower back and take your inner thighs, rotate them inward, and then rotate the inner thighs outward as you start to flatten out that curve. So inner thighs rotate inward as the arch increases. Inner thighs rotate outward as you flatten out the lower back. It's a subtle movement. I have people do it with a block and they can feel it a lot easier, but not many of you have blocks. So when you go like that, you can visually see the block coming out, and when you rotate those inner thighs backwards, the block goes in. Because a lot of us continue doing that while I explain what I'm trying to show you here. A lot of us, we either have an exaggerated arch in the lower back, and which tends to put the chest forward to find the balance, or we slump with the have a flat back, and we tend to slump to get the balance. So we want to get that nice balance where our pelvis is like a pelvis is like a pot, and a beautiful pot, and the spine grows up out of the pelvis. So if the pelvis is tilted forward or backwards, our spine is going to be tilted forward or backward. So we want the pelvis to be level so that our spine can be nice and tall. And that is where we're going with this. So try to find that place in your own body, that inner alignment, where the pelvis is equal and lined up and balanced so that the spine can grow up nice and tall from the pelvis. And when you found that spot, root down through your feet and rise up through the crown of your head in mountain pose. You'll feel a lightness and a lift when you've found your neutral pelvis. And then you can have a little bend in your knees as you raise your arms up and over. And then you can float them back down. Inhale, raise them up and over. Exhale, float them down. And the next time when you inhale, you're going to interlace your fingers at the top. So interlace your fingers and then turn the palms upward towards the sky. So it's going to look like that. A bit standing, and then come up on your tiptoes. And that's really hard to stay balanced. So I would suggest you just move around. If you can't stay still in one spot, just stretch all the way up, taking little movements. Feel all the side body stretching. Breathing deeply. You may find your balance somewhere there on your tippy toes. And then slowly release back down, your hands back down by your sides. And I want to show you a forward bend and then a halfway lift, because I don't want you to be looking at me while we're doing it. So with the forward bend, we're going to find the crease at the top of the thighs. So in mountain pose, and we're going to be bending from the crease with a straight back coming down the torso, coming over the pelvis, and with a generous bend in your knees so you can find the earth. You can let the crown of the head drop, and then we're going to be straightening one leg, sit bone goes up to the ceiling, and then the other sit bone up to the ceiling. And then if you can straighten both legs. And then the halfway lift is you're going to be with a straight back and raising from the back of the head. Hands come up to the shins, and then you can release back down to the mat. Hands come up and then bow deeply. Okay, so is everyone ready to go forward and do that? Make sure you bend your knees as generously as you need so that your hands can reach the mat. So coming forward from the crease, exhaling as you bow forward. And then on your next exhale, begin to raise up to halfway lift. The crown of the head is reaching to the front of the room. The hips are reaching to the back of the hips. Halfway lift, inhale, exhale, forward bend. Inhale to halfway lift, exhale to forward bend. And you can just stay here for a little moment, finding some relaxation, some still. And when you're ready, bring your hands to the crease at the top of your thighs and come up to standing with a straight back. Our very last pose is going to be crescent lunge. And we've kind of prepared for that with some of the poses we've been doing. So standing in mountain, take your weight into your left leg and then take a big step back with your right leg and come up onto your toes. Make sure your hip points are facing to the front of the room. As you slowly start to bend that left knee, checking that it's tracking over the second and third toe and not coming forward of the foot. If you need to take a bigger stand back, lifting through the back thigh as you press the front foot down into the mat. You're drawing your tailbone back down towards your back heel. Now lifting with the inner belly, you can bring your hands up to cactus. And if you're feeling your balance, you can bring your fingertips up to the sky. Finding that even, steady breath here. Keep lifting that back thigh and pressing down with the front foot. The weight is evenly distributed between the two legs. 2 more breaths. And then start to lower your hands down. Bring your weight forward as you bring your right leg foot to meet your left foot. Nice work. I'm going to turn around the other way so you can see it on this side. So taking a big step back with the left leg, toes turned under. Making sure the hip points are facing the front of the room. And this time, if you can just start to really notice if usually the hip point of the front leg is coming forward. So draw that hip back as you draw the back hip point forward. So they'll be even with each other. And now begin the bend in the right leg. Keeping that shin perpendicular. To avoid compression in the lower back, reach the tailbone down towards the back heel. Relax your shoulders. And on the next inhale, you can come to prayer. You can come to cactus arms, or you can come with upward hands. However your balance is today. Keep drawing that back thigh up and pressing down with the front foot, finding the balance of weight between the two legs. Relax your shoulders down away from your ears. Once again, finding your inner alignment here. And when you're ready, you can float your hands back down, bring your weight forward and step your left foot forward to meet your right foot. Great job. Okay. Whew. Just take a moment here in mountain pose just to find that quiet, peaceful space. Reconnect with your breath. And then you can come and lie down on your mats into final Shavasana. Once again, if you'd like a pillow to put under your head, you can roll up your blanket and put it under your knees, or you can cover yourself with your blanket for extra warmth. And just let your body really start to relax and find its comfortable spot here. Thank your body for all the work it's put in for the last hour. Feel the heaviness of your body as you exhale and release all your tension and tiredness into the earth. And I'll just lead you through a short guided meditation. So wherever my voice tells your attention to go, take your mind to that part of your body. Your 10 toes. Relax. The soles of your feet. Relax. Tops of your feet. Relax. Ankles. Relax. The lower legs. Relax. Your whole knees, 2 knees, relax. Upper legs, relax. Your hips and your buttocks, relax, relax, relax. Groin area, relax. Lower belly, relax. Your lower back and sacrum, relax. Mid back, relax. Your chest and heart, relax. Your upper back and shoulder blades, relax. The tops of your shoulders, relax. All 10 fingers, relax. The palms of your hands, relax. The backs of your hands, relax. Wrists, relax. Lower arms and elbows, relax. Upper arms and under your arms, relax. Coming back up to across your collarbones, relax. Back up along the top of your shoulders, relax. Up the back of your neck, relax. The base of your skull, relax. Your jawbone, relax. Cheeks, relax. Under eyes, relax. Your eyes and all the muscles around you holding your eyeballs, relax. Eyebrows, relax. In between your eyebrows, relax. Forehead, relax. Top of the skull, relax. Back of the skull, relax. Whole head, relax. Whole body, relax. And sink into the support of the earth beneath you. Let your breath be easy and free. And enjoy this quiet time with a joyful and thankful heart. Namaste.